Oh, I'm the host now. Welcome, everyone, to Julian Crypto. So there was an energy drink here in the United States that it was called cocaine. Okay, so the same name as the drug, cocaine. And it had cinnamon in it. So when you drank this energy drink, it burned. It kind of it felt like alcohol. It was, and so it was called cocaine. And Julian jumped back in at a good time.
You're talking about cocaine, yes? Tell me
yes,
about it.
I did about cocaine. But there was an energy drink, and it was called cocaine.
You did cocaine, yes?
I did cocaine, yes. Much cocaine. But
which part of your life?
So this would have been early college, but not cocaine the drug, cocaine the energy drink. Oh, that's right. The story of one of my first failed businesses. But it was an energy drink called cocaine. And me and my friends, we had an idea. We were going to start selling it on college campuses because we thought college kids will love this. It's, called cocaine, and it's funny to tell you. Yeah, it's catchy. So we bought 10,000 cans of this energy drink.
With no marketing before.
No marketing before. We're going to go sell it on campus. We put in, it was $15,000 for 10,000 cans, which was pretty good. And then we were like, we're going to sell them for $3. We're going to make 15K and it'll be great. Then the state of Nebraska made the energy drink illegal. Soon after we bought all these, they said, hey, you can't have an energy drink called cocaine. That's just stupid. So we could not sell these. So we were stuck with just 10,000 cans of this energy drink. So for the next 12 years, every time I was over at my friend's house, we would all drink a bottle of cocaine. It took a hit on I was like, oh, entrepreneurship is the worst. I shouldn't do this. But, thankfully, if I had quit then, I would have never made it to my successful business. And I have many other stories of businesses like that. And a lot of entrepreneurs, sometimes what makes the difference between a successful entrepreneur and an unsuccessful entrepreneur is just, did you give up? Did you stop trying? Anytime that there's any move in the markets, people try to explain after the fact, oh, it's because there's war in the Middle East right now. Oh, but the halving is tomorrow. So now that's what's making it pump today. And then, oh, this ETF was launched. And I more have the philosophy of you find things that you believe in long-term, you dollar cost average in, you don't watch it day after day and try to time the markets. I'm not good at that. I don't have time to do that personally. Some people do. Some people love technical analysis and things like that, which is fine. But I believe in Bitcoin long-term. I think at some point we're going to reach 250K Bitcoin. At some point we're going to reach $1 million Bitcoin. So I'm just accumulating. I may take, if we reach all-time highs, I may take a little profit knowing, okay, there'll probably be some kind of a backsliding, and then I can get back in there and take a little bit of profit. But in general, I believe in Bitcoin. I'm going to hold Bitcoin. I'm holding several Bitcoin right now, and I plan to hold them till $1 million. When the market's down a little bit, everybody on Twitter and YouTube is, oh, it's the end of crypto as we know it. And then days like today where we're up, everybody's back bullish and, oh yeah, Bitcoin's the future. And I don't want to be swayed by the day-to-day market swings that way. I want to be more principled in my approach. I believe in Bitcoin long-term. I like these ETFs that have been filed. I'm going to dollar cost average and then hold on to it.
What you just said is that people are reacting to Bitcoin price. And it's definitely like this, because when Bitcoin is going up, as we can see right here, funding rates are positive. That means that more people are trading longs. Only after BTC is going up, not before, most of the times. On the other hand, when Bitcoin is going down, like after FTX collapse or banks in US collapse, people started to short in BTC, but after that events, not before. People are reacting too late.
Yep, absolutely. I see that. I actually, when Bitcoin just recently hit all-time highs, and I had a number of people message me who had been out of crypto for a while, and they said, hey, Bitcoin reached all-time highs. How do we buy in? And I was trying to, just the way they even worded the message, I was like, hey, this is not how you're supposed to do trading of any kind. You're not supposed to buy at all-time highs. But it's just the way people think. I call them chart chasers. So yeah, don't be a chart chaser. You be principled, find the projects you like, find the projects that you believe in long-term, and then you hold on. And that's been my philosophy. It's worked really well for me here. over the years. I've been in many projects that have failed. I've been in many rug pulls, things like that. What I'm looking for now is it's the same thing as when I was doing venture capital. So for those of you who don't know my story, I wrote some software and exited. Then I had a bunch of money. I started doing venture capital, real estate, things like that. Then I got into crypto. So I'm a little later to the crypto game than a lot of people are. One thing I didn't realize is I didn't treat these coins and these projects as businesses. So when I was in venture capital, I had a very strict list of questions that I would ask before I invested in anything venture capital wise. But then when I got into crypto, for some reason, I didn't have those same questions. My questions were, I didn't even really have questions. It was just gut feeling or what do you think is cool or anything like that. But then over time, I realized, it's really, crypto is no different than venture capital. It's the same thing. Is you're backing a team, you're backing a project, you're looking for revenue, you're looking for a problem that they're solving. And so since then, I've shifted. Okay, here's what I'm looking for: a good team, a problem that's being solved in some way, revenue that's coming in from somewhere. That's what I'm looking for in a project. My number one right now is Bitcoin. As soon as the ETFs were filed, there's no way that Bitcoin can go anywhere. And I'm going to knock on wood, because anytime you say it could never happen, that's when it happens. But BlackRock has $13 trillion in investable assets. They're not going to let Bitcoin fall off the map. It's now a part of their investment strategy. It's a part of their customers' portfolios. And there's too much money out there. BlackRock has enough where they could buy the whole crypto market. They could just buy everything. There's a lot of people who say, I'm never selling my Bitcoin, especially if they know it's BlackRock that's coming to buy it. But as soon as that happens, Bitcoin is number one. Ethereum, you have to be a little bit bullish on, just because Bitcoin's the granddaddy. Ethereum's the grand mommy of crypto. So you have to be a little bit bullish on them. I am still bullish on XRP. There's a lot of banks that have said we're going to use XRP. The World Economic Forum, which I'm not a huge fan of personally, but they're partnered with Ripple. And from my experience, the World Economic Forum tends to get what they want, and what they want to happen tends to happen. So I am big on XRP. And then getting out of the top 10, some of the other, like Avalanche, I'm a big fan of AVAX. I think they have great technology that will open up a lot of possibilities for people. I am a big fan of Polygon still. I know some people are off the Polygon train, but when I look at real world companies that are looking to get into blockchain, Nike, Adidas, Disney, they've all said, hey, when we're ready to do blockchain things, we're going to use Matic. We're going to use Polygon. So I'm big on that. And then if you want to get to real out there altcoins, my number one is BioFi. And that's because I'm an advisor for their team. I worked with them a lot. And then they said, hey, do you want to be an advisor for us? And I hold a ton of BioFi tokens. So their phone that they just launched, you do your biometrics on it, similar to how you do on your iPhone. The only difference is that instead of it being stored locally or being stored on Apple or Google, it just goes encrypted straight to the blockchain. They just launched a mobile phone to Africa, and a portion of all their phone sales is going to go to buying BioFi off the open market. So I think we're going to see huge potential for BioFi. It's still at a really low market cap. And whenever you get to those low market cap coins, you have big potential. That's where your 100x's, 1000x's come from. But that's also where you could potentially lose everything. So big risk, big reward. But those are the main ones I would say that I'm looking at right now. Then there's a few in between. Some of the AI ones I'm looking at a little bit. Storage chain is another one that I'm a big fan of, but really looking for things that disrupt traditional business, change the way that it's done. Flux is another one. They're offering servers that are on the blockchain. And I'm working with another company who their server cost is going from $9,000 a month to $900 per month, switching from basically Amazon AWS to Flux. And so you're saving, you don't have quite the same user friendliness as you do on Amazon, but you're saving $8,000 a month.
How you started your YouTube channel? You have 50,000 subscribers right now.
Yeah. No, it's been quite a journey. I'm actually a computer programmer by default. That was my 9 to 5, was I helped get a bunch of companies on to e-commerce back when that was the thing to do. And then eventually, yeah, just decided I didn't like the flexibility of a 9 to 5. Is if I wanted to take a day off, it was hard to do that. If my kids wanted to go to a movie or we wanted to go on a trip, I was just like, I don't have flexibility. So I started several different software companies, and then I found one that really worked out. So it was called Mobile Text Alerts, and it sent out mass text messages, started the text marketing, which now everybody gets spam text messages. At least here in the States, everybody gets spam text messages about this and that. I apologize. That's one of my contributions to the world that I feel a little guilty about. But I started that business and really just learned on the fly about how to start a business, how to grow a business, how to do hiring. I started hiring customer support and sales, started hiring programmers. Then I needed a CTO. Then I needed a COO. And eventually we grew to the point, had 12 employees and 30,000 customers. I was able to exit that for about $6 million. And then that's where I got my capital to start my investing journey.
So you sold your company for 6 million, yeah? It was making around $1 million a year, yes? So
yeah, we were at about 1 million a year or so. Software as a service is a very popular niche. You get very good multiples because you have the recurring monthly revenue. When you're doing e-commerce or something like that, you have to rely on people, new customers each month. And it's like, okay, you might have had 200K in sales this month, but that's no guarantee you're going to have any sales the following month. But if you can get recurring monthly revenue, you've noticed most business like Netflix and everybody's has that model now. That's the most popular model now, is pay monthly. So it had very generous multiple when I was exiting. And then that gave me some capital to start investing. And then my goal with my YouTube channel was just, I want to help other people have the same freedom that I've been able to enjoy. So I do some crypto stuff. I do some other investing stuff. And then I do a lot of like side hustles of just, hey, here's a way, an online business you could start, a digital business. I do a lot of advising for online businesses and digital businesses, people starting out. And and I really enjoy it. I love business, love solving real world problems in exchange for money. So that's really what business is, and I enjoy it.
So what is the most common problem that people are asking you?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Actually, the most common question I get by far is, what should I invest in if I only have $500? And I tell people, nothing. You should find a way to get more than $500. And that's why I point them towards business. People look at Shiba Inu, for example. They're like, oh, somebody put in $100 and then they became a millionaire. That's just not the way that it usually works. For every one person that did that, there was 999,000 people who lost everything that they put into Shiba Inu or lost a big chunk of it. And so if you're starting with very low capital, I would not recommend that you go into crypto and start, okay, how can I turn $500 into $1 million? That's just not the general path that's going to work. I would recommend you start a business. You find a problem that needs to be solved, maybe in the crypto industry, but you find a problem that needs to be solved. You solve that problem, and then you charge people for it. That's what business is. And it doesn't have to be a 7-figure business. You can start with just, okay, I'm making an extra $1,000 a month from a little side hustle project. And it's okay. You can invest with $1,000 a month into Bitcoin and start making some financial progress. $1,000 a month, we can work with that investing wise. $500 just one time is not going to really get you much. So that's probably the number one question that I get. And that's how I answer it, is we need to find you a way to get some more income so that you have more that you can invest. One of the things I really want to do is just help educate people financially, because they say that if you redistributed all the wealth in the world, if you just took it all away and started everybody at the same spot, the same few people would end up with all the money again. And it's because they have the financial literacy, they have the financial education. They're not relying on other people to make them money, but they've learned, okay, I provide service, I provide value, I solve a problem, I get people to pay for that, I repeat, rinse and repeat. One of the things that holds a lot of entrepreneurs back is just not trying, just not doing anything. There's a proverb in the Bible that says, hard work brings profit, mere talk leads only to poverty. And I see a lot of people that talk about wanting to be rich, talk about financial freedom, but then I'm like, oh, what are you doing to take steps towards that? They go, oh, nothing. That's not me. It probably won't work out. I probably won't be successful. It's not if you don't do it, what is Wayne Gretzky, a famous hockey player? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so that's one of the things I encourage entrepreneurs is just get started. You might fail. I failed in probably 3 or 4 businesses before mine that took off. And a lot of people around me, family, friends said, hey, just work your 9 to 5 and stop messing around with people. Don't start their own businesses. That's not a real thing. And just get going with something. Find an idea and start going, and you'll be surprised what can happen. One of the things that was pretty eye-opening is I started an e-commerce store for a company. I won't name the company, but I started an e-commerce store for them. We brought in $1 million the first year, and they said, hey, we want to congratulate you for bringing in $1 million. Let's have a big lunch pizza party. And I was sitting there at the pizza party, and I was just thinking, I brought them in $1 million and I get
What year was that?
So that would have been probably 2012 or 2013.
All right. Okay. So think about it this way. If you would get that pizza, maybe it was 2 pizzas, right? And exchange it to some Bitcoins.
That's true.
That days. It would be worth something.
Yeah, that's true. If I had sold the pizza for 13,000 Bitcoin or whatever that guy did, you're right. That could have been a very financially good move. But unfortunately, it was not. It was just pizza, and I just ate it. And so there was no long-term benefit there. But really, I just wanted the fruit of my labor to go back to me. I wanted, hey, when I put in extra work or I have a really good idea, not selfishly, not greedily, but it's just I want my outcome to be correlated with what I do. There was a movie, Frozen. I'm sure that you've heard of Frozen. It's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
But my daughter wanted to go to it. They were doing this big Frozen special where they had the characters came all dressed up and things like that. But it was in the middle of the day. So I went into my boss's office and said, hey, can I go to this? And he said, no, sorry, we have this deadline approaching. And understandable. I can't blame him. It wasn't a super good reason. But I just thought to myself, you know what? I want to be in control of what I want to do. If I want to go on a trip, I want to go on a trip. If I want to take my daughter to go see Frozen, I want to be able to do that. So it's those 2 things that really inspired me. I don't want to work for someone else, and I want to help other people. If they want financial freedom, they want time freedom, I want to help with that. Sometimes I start my day thinking about the problems that are in my life and the financial difficulties or what I have to do for the day that's stressing me out. And it makes it really hard to get out of bed when the first thing when you open your eyes, you're like, oh, here's 1 million problems in life. And so it's worked a lot better for me. The first thing when I open my eyes is I look around and what am I thankful for? So I start with that, and that really gets me motivated for the day. So then out of that kind of peace and joy that the Lord gives me, then, okay, now I'm ready to start tackling these problems. Because there are a lot of problems in life. Even when, that's one thing that people think that as you make more money, your problems get less. It's the exact opposite. As you make more money, your problems get bigger. There's more people watching you. So if you don't do something correct, then there's more people attacking you and things like that. That's another thing that I try to teach people too is learn peace and contentment with where you're at before you try to get bigger. Because people think the reason I'm not content, the reason I'm not at peace is because I'm not a millionaire. And it's like, if you're not content and peaceful with what you have now, there's no way you're going to be when you're a millionaire. Okay. The millionaires are the most stressed out people that I've ever met, quite a bit, because you just have all these problems. You have people coming to you for money. If you start hiring people, now you're not only responsible for your family, you're responsible for 12 other people and their families. So like when I was running my business, people would say, wow, you probably have such a stress-free life. And it's like, well, I have 50 or 60 people who are relying on me making the right decisions for their food. And so that's not less stress. That's a lot more stress. But just going to God and starting with gratitude, and then out of peace, you can start tackling these problems. A lot of people think that AI is going to take a lot of jobs. I don't necessarily think that's true, but I think people who know how to use AI are going to take the jobs of people who don't know how to use AI. So it's very similar to the internet. Like the internet didn't steal anyone's jobs really, but people who know how to use the internet stole jobs from people who didn't know how to use the internet. And so I think AI is going to be a similar thing where you should know how to use generative AI. You should know how to work these things into your businesses. I just read the other day that Zillow, for example, is using AI customer support to replace 500 of its agents. One of the biggest needs for AI is processing power. They always say that whenever there's a gold rush, it's actually the pickaxe salesmen who make the most money, who do the best. It's the people who are able to provide the tools needed for that gold rush to happen. So that's what I'm always on the lookout for is, okay, if AI takes off, AI computing power is going to be one of the big needs out there. So who is there to take care of that need? And that's where I'm looking to invest. I prefer that. So I'm mainly looking at who can provide tools for AI. So like Flux, I mentioned, Render is another one. That's what I'm mainly looking at right now. It's never been easier in the history of the world to start your own business. You have the whole internet as your potential customer base. 50 years ago, if you wanted to start a business, the only people you could service were the people in your neighborhood or directly around you. You had no access to anybody outside of that. And now we've gone from, so maybe you had 200 potential customers to now you have 5 billion potential customers, the whole internet. And then you have, AI that can help you with your graphics. I'm a terrible artist. And so that would hold me back where it's like, oh, even a logo design, I'm gonna have to pay $1,000 for that. Now we have all this generative AI stuff to just help fill in your weaknesses. And as you can tell, I'm really excited about it. But anybody watching who wants to start a business, I will help. I'll do what I can to help get you going. PassiveIncomeEngines.com is my community where, we focus on passive income. So side hustles, crypto, different passive income investments. And you can also check out JamesPelton.me, which I'm going to be revamping here soon. I don't even have it there on my YouTube links. There you go. There's something I can fix. But JamesPelton.me, that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of my different programs. And I have a lot of free resources. I have a lot of training courses and things like that.
Love it. Thank you, James, for being here. And hope that we will talk soon on another video. Maybe I will invite you another time and we'll talk about crypto or different things about business.
Well, thank you so much for having me. So I love talking. And so this has been great. So I'm happy to come back anytime. So just let me know.
Awesome.